Hello, my name is AIDAN. I was a former patient of Dr. Diaz, and I would just like to come on here and talk about my experience and kind of the whole process in general. And for me, I had a rhinoplasty surgery and a deviated septum. I had quite a messed up nose. I was very crooked septum. I only had about 20% breathing in my left nostril there, and I had a pretty big hump on my nose, and I just really wasn't happy with the way it looked. And most importantly, I had sort of trouble breathing and that kind of thing. Firstly, we found Dr. Diaz through social media, and from that point on, we eventually got in contact with him, talked a little bit back and forth texting, and then we decided to call him on the phone, and we had a FaceTime, and he talked to me and my sister, because my sister also had a rhinoplasty surgery at the same time as me. So we talked on the phone, we talked to him, and he looked at us, and we talked about what we wanted, what we were looking for, how we wanted it to look. And all of us agreed, and eventually we booked a time. And I'm from Canada, so Diaz is located in Mexico, so we eventually booked a time with him and a date a couple months in advance. And yeah, we flew down to Mexico, and we went from the airport to his office, and we had our consultation in person there, and he looked at us, looked at our noses, kind of really explained to us, like, we explained to him what we were looking for and what we wanted change and how we wanted it to look. And he explained to us the process and what's going to happen on operation day and the recovery and what all that looks like and what we can do now and stuff like that. And it was it was one of the best consultations we've had, because any questions we had, he answered right then and there. And he explained things in an easy way to understand what's going to happen and how he's going to do everything, because those things can get quite complex. And yeah, after the in-person consultation, we had about 2 or 3 days to enjoy Mexico before going into an operation. And once we got into the operation, I was first and my sister was second. And I went in, and I was expecting we were going to be in some sort of hospital or like some crowded, hospital or something like that. But we actually had a very nice private facility with private nurses and our own anesthesiologist. And it was super nice. Everybody was super kind. And yeah, it wasn't a crowded place. It was small, but it was perfect. It was exactly what we wanted, and made it easy for everybody, easy to find, close to a lot of things. We stayed in an Airbnb. It was me, my mom, and my sister. We stayed in an Airbnb, and it was close to Diaz and his office and the hospital and pharmacies and stuff like that. So after we had the operation, we had the first week was pretty rough. I mean, it's just your face just had all this trauma. You just reshaped your nose and broke down your bone structure. But we were just bedridden, me and my sister, just didn't do much, kind of just watch movies, Netflix, took some pain medication for the pain because it comes and goes. But yeah, throughout that first 5 days, which was probably the hardest, but Diaz was we had daily check-ins, we had meds we had to take for blood clots and stuff like that. And Diaz, yeah, he was very present and texted my mom every day, asking how we're doing, making sure everything's going to plan. And before the operation, he talked to us about if we had an emergency and what that would look like, if there was something, maybe some sort of bleeding or something like that, if it was happening in certain spots for a long period of time or a short period of time, depending where it is, to call him right away, and we would go to his office and he'd fix it up right then and there. And I think on day 4 for me, I had a bleeding in my nose, and it was going down my throat, and I couldn't seem to stop the bleeding. Kind of came out of nowhere. So my mom called Dr. Diaz, and within 10 minutes, he was at his office. We decided to meet him at his office, so we just went outside, grabbed a taxi, went to his office. He was there waiting, and we went in, and he fixed it all up and patched it up again. I think yeah, some sort of blood clot or something happened. I don't quite remember, but it was on the ball, and it was very very simple fix, is what he said, and it happens quite frequently. But it was good that we texted him and got it sorted out in the beginning stages. And yeah, for the first 5 days, we had these tubes in our nose and stitches, and we couldn't breathe out our nose, only mouth breathing, sorry. And we had these bandages across, obviously to stop the bleeding. And that was for about the first 5 or 6 days, I don't quite remember, before he took the tubes out. Then that was probably the biggest relief we had of the whole operation and process in general. Overall, we spent 2 weeks in Mexico. The first week was definitely the hardest. The last week was, you're able to walk around the apartment a bit more. You can go outside. You're eating food now instead of smoothies. That's kind of just what we experienced. Maybe it'd be different for other people, but for me, it was first week kind of just smoothies and stuff like that, soft food, and then you can just go up gradually from there. On day 12 of the 2 weeks, so almost fully 2 weeks, we got the we had the full reveal. Like, he took the tape off. We had this tape on our nose, took the tape off, had the stitches out, the tubes out, and we were able to finally look in the mirror for the first time in his office and see kind of what he did, and see your nose for the first time. For 2 weeks you've had these bandages on your nose, you never saw it. And yeah, we looked in the mirror, and I was shocked. It was like a new person. It was quite the change from what I had before, and I was very happy with it and just really pumped. And turned out great. My sister's turned out great, mine turned out great, and we just kind of talked it was day 12, so we were leaving in 2 or 3 days after this, and this was our last kind of in-person meetup, and we just talked about what we have to watch for the next month, because it's about 1 month post-operation. You need to be kind of pretty careful and take it easy still, and you can't do heavy lifting and stuff like that, where it can bring pressure to your face. So we were kind of talking to him about that, asking him questions like, are we allowed to wear sunglasses and things along those lines, just normal stuff that we would have questions about. And he explained everything and had all the answers to all our questions, which was really nice. And yeah, overall, it was really nice. He explained and was very present throughout the whole operation, and any questions we had, it was kind of right there. And daily check-ins were really nice, kind of showed that you're not just left alone. He's quite involved, which is nice. And about 9 months later, post-operation, 9 months later, 10 months later, I noticed I was getting a little bump on the side of my nose here, on this side. And this was because I didn't do these massages that we were supposed to do. Up to 6 weeks after post-operation, he told us to do these massages up and down your nose, 5 minutes twice daily for 6 weeks, and then you're done, just to make sure no cartilage will build up. And that's exactly what happened to me, because I didn't do it for the full 6 weeks. And so about 9 months later, I noticed I had a little bump kind of on the outside, and it was built up cartilage because I didn't properly do those massages that he told me to do. So I kind of sent him a message, said, hey, look at this, what do you think of that? And we talked for a bit, and he told me it was a very simple, easy fix. It's just a matter if I can get to him and do it. And we decided to do it. So me and my mom went down to Mexico and we didn't really need a consultation, because he already knew my nose very well, and I didn't need to do any blood tests or scans. Kind of just showed up. I had a day there in the morning, went to the private facility. He met us there, talked to us, looked at it, told us what was the issue, what he was going to fix, and went in for the operation. A couple hours, came out later, and it was a much easier recovery, considering I didn't have any tubes in my nose, because he didn't do anything with the septum. It was just an easy fix. It's just fixing the cartilage on the bridge of the nose there. And I was able to wear sunglasses. I was able to go outside and things like this and eat food right away. And I didn't actually take any pain medications for the second operation. I didn't need it. Just didn't really feel any pain. And so that was about a week of recovery. Then I got the stitches out a week after, like a week of recovery. And then on the 7th day, I had the stitches out. And the whole time I'm able to like breathe through my nose and eat and kind of walk around. And I just had this tape along like the bridge of my nose like that. And we were there for 2 weeks. That was how long we were there. And on day 15, we kind of like met him for the last, or day 13, sorry, we kind of met him for the last time. Went to his office, took the tape off, told me, you know, what to look like, the massages I'm supposed to do this time for post-op and how long to do it, and, you know, things like that. And if I had any questions, I'd ask him right there. And he, yeah, it was overall, it was a very positive experience. If I had to do it again, I would definitely go to him, just because throughout the whole time, it was really nice to know that whatever questions we had, he would answer, but also whatever he'd ask us what we want and what we were looking for. Because at the end of the day, it's, you know, it's the patient who's getting the operation and changing their facial appearance. And he was very accommodating to that, and I appreciate it a lot. The second operation was very, very simple and very easy compared to the first operation. I just wish I did those massages he told me to do the first time for the full time he told me to do it. But I went back the second time, and it was an easy fix and no problem, and it wasn't even painful at all. Throughout the whole process, it was nice to know he was always checking in. We had daily check-ins. He'd text my mom or text me and ask me how I'm doing, send me photos, and I'd send him a photo, and he'd say, okay, make sure to take this pill because it will help with the swelling, or apply this cream to the infected area, so it doesn't get infected, things like that. And if I woke up and I was a lot more swollen on one side than the other, I'd ask him, hey, what's going on? I think I'm a lot more swollen on this side. And then he'd say like, oh, did you sleep for, you know, on your side for a bit when you weren't, like, for like 20 minutes in the morning? And I'm like, yeah, so that's the reason why you're swollen. Just easy things like that. And, you know, he's always got back to us with, you know, within at latest a day, usually within a couple of hours. And yeah, overall, it was a really positive experience. Really enjoyed it. It wasn't like, you know, my favorite thing, but the recovery and stuff was, for the first operation, the big one was just uncomfortable. But, you know, you're changing your facial, you know, how it looks. So kind of the price you have to pay. But yeah, I was very happy with the service we got, and he was very kind, nice guy, and very, you know, explains things in a very easy, understandable way. And it was my mom was very happy with the whole service, and kind of what we were getting, and for how much we were paying. It wasn't even that expensive in comparison to how much you have to pay here in Canada. I know a lot of people are going down to the States, or going down to Mexico to do these sort of things, just because it's a lot cheaper. And he was very accommodating to our time. We could pick a date, and if we needed it to change, or for the second operation, we weren't sure on what day we were going to be going to go down to Mexico, just because flights were getting canceled and this sort of thing. And he was able to switch around his schedule and stuff like that. And he's a very busy man, so it was nice to know he still made time for us. And yeah, overall, I most importantly, I'm very happy with how my nose looks, and how I'm able to breathe. I had about, this nostril had about 20% of breathing. I could barely breathe out of my left nostril, and now I'm able to easily breathe and run and play sports and do what I need to do, and not be mouth breathing all the time, and sleep and wake up with my, not have to sleep and wake up with my mouth open and dry, because now I can properly breathe, and I'm very happy with the way it looks as well. That's just a bonus. But yeah, just wanted to come on here and kind of talk about my personal experience and the process as a whole that I went through. And yeah, thank you.